I do want to clarify really quick, chat. I'm not a financial expert. I think I know enough to at least like kind of break all this down. But overall, like, I'm not a financial expert. So if I say something wrong, please feel free to correct me. I'm not obviously an expert, right? There are 4 main documents that came out today, chat. There's a notice about stock repurchase. There's a management policy. And then, of course, a financial fiscal year and the results for Q4. So we're going to kind of look at all of these things. We're going to break them down individually. And basically what they're saying with the stock repurchase is, any color is saying after a resolution with the board of directors, which a meeting held, which is today, matters pertaining to stock repurchase. So reason for treasury stock repurchase. The company has been generating a large amount of cash while maintaining a high growth rate. And today has formulated a midterm capital allocation policy to optimally allocate investments for growth and shareholder returns. Based on this policy, in order to improve captive efficiency and enhance return to stockholders, the company has decided to repurchase its own shares, taking into consideration in investment capacity, stock price level, market environment, etc., right? This is seen as something negative, right? However, I will correct you all. This isn't necessarily a negative, right? If they have the money to repurchase their own stocks, right? They might see it as undervalued. So they're just going to go ahead and buy it back from them and try to raise that that price back up, right? Is this a bad thing? It's hard to say. It's hard to say, chat. So I think we can put on the board. Our key takeaway here is, Ninji is buying. They're buying back stock to raise. We'll say the EPS. Yeah, we'll say the EPS. So they're buying back stock to raise the EPS here. So in hopes that their stock do not look so bad. It could mean that they're going to have less ability to buy into investment opportunities just because they have less cash, right? So they're having to buy more of their own stuff. They're going to own more treasury stock. That could be a bad thing because less money for them in their bank account, right? Means less ways for them to invest into other stuff. So before we get into the finances, let's talk about the management policy. The business overview, we're the largest VTuber group in Japan and develop multiple services anchored by each VTuber. We're the largest VTuber group. Yeah, okay, here's all the VTubers. We're building a unique ecosystem by developing multiple services with live streaming as a starting point, constructing engagement, real world connections. Guys, we're forming real world connections, chat, by making sure that we do everything possible to screw over our talents. Remember, chat, real world connections are screwing over the people that work for you. Improving brand recognition. I don't think it's so much that they need to improve their brand recognition. I think it's more so they need to improve their brand, the value in their brand, the, I don't know, I guess I would say like the confidence in their brand, right? Now, we'll go ahead and tell you guys, they did not meet their projection. I will just put that out there. They did not meet their end of year projection. And I feel like most of that is, of course, from the E inside, right? Overseas, they're doing well. Ingo side, not so much. So we've seen steady growth in business performance since our founding in 2017, the beginning of the VTuber era, and have grown to become the largest VTuber production company in Japan. So here we have here, of course, their revenue, right? Operating profit and number of affiliate VTubers at the end of each term. So honestly, as you can see here, each VTuber has, been added more and more and more and more and more. Right here, we only have at the end of this financial year, right? The difference is only 2 VTubers. So that does mark quite a departure in a lot of VTubers from 2023 to 2024. So their revenue number go up. Operating profit go up. So really, if anything, Nijisanji has been making more money, chat. They're actually doing better than they were last year, despite all of the stuff that has happened. So a few VTubers are selected from approximately 10,000 auditioneers and debut after 6 to 12 months of training. After they debut, it fostered fan community through live streaming, etc. As you can see here, here's the percentage of their business.
Getting away with it.
Live streaming is 16. Their commerce revenue from sales of merchandise and digital content is almost 60%. So here we have the quarterly fluctuations in each business model, and here is each fluctuation, right, chat? So commerce actually went down quite a bit. The any-color market environment, anime and video streaming content gaining popularity. VTubers are developing various markets as influencers, especially due to the shift from traditional media among the younger generation and Generation Z. So market environment here, it's assumed that the top 2 companies, any-color account for more than half of the market sales. Large companies can usually leverage their superiority through infrastructure and use of existing communities. So here's kind of the others, competitor A, a market where 2 companies currently occupy more than half of the market. So any color talking about their size within the market. I think they're trying to basically do a flex. They're like, oh yeah, look at us, we're bigger than Cover, which is competitor A. So they're saying of a Japan VTuber market share, but nowhere is there mention of English. If they combine these, if they did English and Japanese together, right, and put it on here, this would not look good. So this is their aims, right, chat? They want to increase sales to this. This is their hopes. This is just like what they're hoping to do. That doesn't mean that, you know, anything, right? This is just projections. Based on actually growing by about 25% or 23% each year, they would hit that numbers. So long would he continue efforts to nurture and debut VTubers. They're not nurturing anybody. They're not nurturing anybody. Oh, that's a fucking lie. So let me ask you a question, chat. When you only gain 2 VTubers for a year, and you say, oh, the number is going up for each VTuber. Well, yeah, of course it is. Because you're dividing it by basically the same number. So of course it looks bigger. Increase employees and businesses and VTuber management planning. Good. They need to do that. Strengthen VTuber management structure and investment studios. Plan to increase the number of VTubers by average of 10 to 50% per year through new debuts. Strengthen the virtual talent academy initiatives. Okay, so let's talk about this a second. Virtual Talent Academy was the academy that they just put out all the information where they're allowing minors to be part of this particular VTuber initiative. No, we don't need to invest anything else into Virtual Talent Academy. There is nothing else that we need to put into Virtual Talent Academy. Absolutely not. Expect average annual growth of this. Invest in nurturing top VTubers, expand each VTuber's fan community. So here we have a talk about capital investments. And they're just talking about they're expanding a studio to accommodate the increase in VTubers. They're doing more motion capture, more recording, and of course, a better control room. Basically stuff in their studio is what they're talking about. So they do actually talk about business risks and measures to address them, which I think is great. Human resources risk. Risk of behind talented people to support the business is critical to our continued growth. Wow. Actually addressing a real problem. There's a probability that recruitment will not proceed as expected due to factors such as competition, etc. Or maybe, I don't know, paying them correctly. But, you know, that's just my thought. Possibility of outflow of current employees from the company. And a policy for addressing the risk. Actively recruit new employees and create a comfortable working environment in human resource system and start to enhance training programs. All right, good. Reputation risk. So here we go, chat. In the course of developing content IP services, there exists the possibility of video streaming or activities that may lead to violations of public order and morals or infringement of intellectual property rights. There's a possibility of VTuber activities or our reputation may be affected due to scandals or a public outrage against affiliated live streamers. Strengthen systems to respond promptly to inappropriate activities and protect against reputation damage, including through compliance training for affiliated live streamers and content management, as well as strengthen internal controls such as action based on findings from third parties. So nowhere do they mention we are going to do a better job in HR development. Yeah, we are not going to do anything that ties into human resources. Instead, We are going to make sure that we respond to this quickly and make sure that we include training for these livers, but make sure also that we have better internal controls. You literally just said, we're going to make sure that once you come into our camp, we put up higher walls, stronger electric fence, add guard dogs, and more gunmen. They literally said nothing about doing better when it comes to HR. Absolutely crazy. So here they talk about sustainability, protecting intellectual property rights, responding to defamation issues, and talent development. Obviously, protecting intellectual property is very important, right? Talent development is very important. But I do, of course, want to look to the defamation issues, since this, of course, is very relevant to their Q4 English results, right? So we've established a countermeasure team for offensive and defamatory behavior to appropriately respond to defamatory and offensive actions against VTubers belonging to any color, to systematically implement countermeasures against defamatory and offensive actions. So protecting the livers is not a bad thing. We've established an anti-defamation study group with video streaming and posting platform operators, creators, affiliated companies, and experts to share information among stakeholders and make policy proposals to the government. The anti-defamation study group. This is such a weird thing to create. I don't know if it's just like a buzzword or they're trying to be like, oh, we made a group to protect them. This feels kind of buzzwordy. They're definitely dodging the issues that happened at the start of the year. They're doing everything possible to get out of talking about Celine and acknowledging those types of finances within everything. One thing that I do want to point out to all of you from this point forward is Nijisanji is very sneaky, chat. They combine all of their results together. So what that means is they put the English results together with their international results, which they've never done before. Exactly. They're hiding the E inside of losing money. The revenue in Q4, due to the holding of large-scale events, the performance of commerce and events increased, and with a steady increase in revenue per VTuber, we achieved a significant increase in revenue compared to the same period last year. Overall, they are growing, chat. Compared to the financial forecasts that were in the changes in the sales schedule from the initial plan in the commerce business during Q4 and delays in some promotion business, as a result, the performance slightly fell short of the initial forecast. It roughly aligned with the initial plan. So as you can see here, chat, their forecast and their percent of progress to it was 97%. They were actually very, very close, chat. Operating profits and Q4 streamlining the direct cost and commerce and event business contributed to profit margin improvement. Although the profit margin tends to decline in Q4 compared to other quarters due to end-of-year bonuses, streamlining variables, costs resulting in profit margin improvement compared to both the same period of the previous year and the previous quarter. As much as we've been preying on their downfall, right? Nijisanji has come back out on top. They literally are doing just fine, is what we're reading right here. They are very much carried by the international side of stuff. Compared to our forecast, operating margin was generally in line with the plan, as you can see here. The same with the revenue, the actual operating profit slightly fell short of the forecast, but generally within the initial plans expected range. So you can see that here, 97.3, 97.2, and 97%. So here's the revenue by business area and the revenue by group. Q1, this number on top in the light pink is English, and the lower number here is Japan. So obviously Q1 was pretty good. Q2 was all right. However, the Japanese market fell quite a bit. But obviously here you can see, looking at Q4, the English side's number is the lowest it has been the entire year, chat. It is very much lower than all of this other stuff here. However, Nijisanji Japan had their highest revenue that they have had so far. This quarter was their second highest earning quarter compared to Q1. So compared to the previous quarter, memberships and advertising revenue remain flat. Super Chat decreases in reaction to the increased influence by the Nijisanji Festival in December. But again, the biggest thing I want to point out, chat, is they've never merged their stuff together like this. So them merging all of this together is basically their way of
kind of,
escaping
but
that
not
things look really bad.
lol.
The sales of Nijisanji's 6th anniversary merchandise and the live event merchandise are strong, resulting in a significant year-over-year revenue increase. However, due to the changes in sales schedule in the commerce business during Q4 compared to forecasts, the results are slightly closer to forecast. And compared to the same period last year, both the numbers of projects and the unit price of projects have increased, and particularly the number of projects executed has shown an increasing trend for both new and repeating projects. Look at the bigger picture, right? English took a hit, Japan did not. So overall, as a company, any color Nijisanji is not suffering, right? So we actually have numbers attached to a lot of this. Business administration, right? Between two people, vtuber management and vtuber planning, so on and so forth. So I do want to point out something here really quick, chat. From the beginning of the year to the end of the year, they did add about, 60 people to this part that's supposed to have vtuber management stuff. The business administration did not grow much. I don't know why. You would think that these kind of correlate with each other. Business administration, I think, is very much in charge of HR. So I do think that this number not growing, this very top pink number, right, is a big deal. This is basically HR not being invested in the company, which is a big problem, right? Considering everything that's happened with them. If this number goes up, why does this business administration side not continue to go up proportionally? So of course, here's them talking about their margins here. Year over year, the revenue went up by 26.3%. Operating profit margin year over year went up by 31.4%. And net profit year over year went up by 30.3%. Chat, literally, you can't deny it. Unfortunately, Any Color is fucking making money. Despite everything that happened, chat, they made a big chunk of money from last year. Nijisanji English continued to lose money, right? But Nijisanji Japan absolutely carried them. And they did make about a 30% profit this quarter. They did also hit a year over year. They hit some pretty big numbers as well. Niji is buying back their stocks because they think it's undervalued and hoping to kind of get a little bit more confidence within their own potential buyers later. Nijisanji is growing, chat. Niji definitely dodged almost every single relation or any mention of Celine. They did everything possible by pushing these things together, right? The revenue by group. Just to avoid that, they did not actually mention her, and of course they combined all these results to make the number look good, number go up, and stockholders hopefully buy. I mean, I feel bad for anybody involved in this company's predatory practices, especially them not addressing really the HR issues, and especially on top of that, like them choosing not to grow their business administration side. It's actually fucking nuts to me.
Thank you so much to all my Ko-Fi and Discord boosters. If you want to see your name here, consider supporting with the Ko-Fi link below.